Good afternoon, Mr. Booker. This is Garrett Jackson with the Lawton Town Crier. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm actually some kind of wonderful, Garrett. How are you?
I'm well, thank you for asking. So we just got out of a meeting discussing the new proposed TIF district. And TIF stands for Tax Increment Financing. Can you tell us a little bit about what the committee talked about today?
Well, so what we're doing is we're taking the old TIF 1 and TIF 2, which were the downtown revitalization. And most people will think about that, about the newer shopping center on 2nd Street, okay? That's TIF 1 and 2. And what we did today was take some of the undeveloped parcels and start the clock over on them. So that's really basically what we did, was start the clock over. And we expanded the area where funds could be spent generated by those TIFs to include Elmer Thomas Park and the Lawton High and Central High up in there.
Okay, and so one of the things it looked like is on that time limit, it was mentioned that there's a 25-year time limit on that. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because that's going to last beyond most of what the city council's term of office is going to be.
Right, and that's, once it's in place and you spend the money, then the income generated off your incremental growth. And the way a TIF works is we freeze the taxes on those places, or what's going to the taxing entities like the schools, Great Plains, the county, and the health department, and the city. The city gets a little bit for roads, and that's frozen. Let's say they're getting $1,000, make it easy. They still get $1,000 for the full 25 years. And all the investment, the whole point of it is to invest in those areas and raise the tax value so that at the end of the 25 years, the taxes to the schools, et cetera, are higher. And so, but in the meantime, during that 25-year period, that incremental growth can be used to pay for project costs and the things that you do to invest to try to get a higher number. Now, if you'll notice in the meeting, everything was capped. There's a certain amount of money you can spend on infrastructure, for instance. And once you've spent that money, or once you've received that money back, then that's done.
Okay, so let me ask another quick question. In this proposed meeting, or in this proposed TIF, you talked about giving some money to Central Middle School and Lawton High School through a STEM initiative. Back 3 years ago, the Lawton Economic Development Authority had you on the YouTube, and you talked about STEM at that time. How important is STEM to the city of Lawton and to the people of our community?
Well, Lawton is the STEM city in Oklahoma. In 2014, Eisenhower was the STEM high school in the nation. I don't know if you remember that. But we take 10% of all of our TIF revenue after a certain date. TIF 1 and 2 was not included, you notice. But TIF, what will probably be called 7 and 8, will be included. 10% of the revenue will go into STEM education. Now, STEM education has multiple functions. The function, according to the plan, is to build the pipeline of workers for the future, because the TIF is all about economic development, right? But the other part of it that we see is it's a way for us to give kids that don't have the don't have the advantage that your and I child might have, to give them a tool to help lift them up and take them forward in life. And that's the reason STEM education is so important. We've put a priority on STEM education in Lawton in order to change the future not only for children, but to change the future for the city of Lawton.
Okay, so looking back at some of the other actions that the City Council has done recently, especially given that we have, I think it's called Firehawk coming in, is that something that those corporations look at as our commitment to STEM when they choose places like Lawton?
So here's the question they ask you. They don't come in and ask you if you have STEM. They come in and ask you what's in the pipeline. And what they're asking is, what are you doing to train the workers for the future? Okay, that's what they're asking you. And that's when we tell them about our STEM program. Now, we tell them about other things too. We tell them about all the people that retire from Fort Sill that would stay here if they could get a job. We tell them about all the other things that we're doing. But when we tell them about the STEM, many of them make contributions to our fund for STEM, such as Firehawk. They made a $50,000 contribution to STEM education.
Okay, wonderful. Now let's